Hey everyone, I wanted to create a quick video just to help you get started on your project today. You're going to be creating a project where you ask the player to guess a number between 1 and 100. They're going to keep guessing until they get it right, and you're going to give them feedback in prompts of either how cold or hot they are. You get to pick what those labels are, those degrees of warmth. It can be anything you want as long as it's school appropriate. The example that I give are freezing, cold, warm, hot, on fire. You can have more than five. Just make sure that they're fairly consistent so they can get a feel for it. You're trying to make it so it's easy for them to guess your number, or at least reasonably easy to guess your number. Okay, so you're going to create an interface that allows them to start a new game. It then provides a space for them to give input for the number that they're selecting. They're going to click a button and you're going to then give them feedback about how far or close they are to the number. So I'm going to kind of run through just the basics with you of how to get you started and give you a couple quick tips. So first of all, to get this project going, since it's not part of the code.org curriculum, you're going to go to code.org and you're going to choose from the create menu, the app lab. This is where you create projects that are not related directly to a lesson. Okay, please name your project last F underscore hot cold, like I've got here in the instructions, where last F is your last name and first initials. The number of times that I've gotten LASTF underscore project name is maybe funnier than it should be. Okay, next you're going to create your interface. Remember, you create a new game, enter a value to guess. So a text box would work, drop down would work, although be kind of clunky. And then the best bet is the slider. I'm going to show you what that looks like. The slider control has what number it's set from and to, your min and max values, and what its default value is, and then you can get the number from it just like anything else. I would have a dynamically updating label along with it if you're doing that. Okay. Again, a text box will work just fine. Submit their guess. I would use a button here, and then provide feedback to the user. You'll need a text area at the very least for stating their current degree of warmth, hot, cold, whatever it is, and the number of guesses that the number of guesses that they've made so far this game, and then also some kind of congratulations message once they get it. So make sure you're keeping track of how many times it takes them to answer. So maybe it takes them five guesses. You would then have that as part of your output. Okay, real quick, then you're going to, after you get done creating the interface, you're going to want to create your hidden number. To do that, you're going to assign the hidden number, I call it magic number, the magic number to a value using the function, the random number function that can be found in the math section. And then after that, hey, do all the magic to make the code work, or do all the code to make the magic work. Okay, couple helpful hints. Jot down the conditionals before you get started. So just take a whiteboard or a piece of paper, and if you don't have to write out all the if statements and everything, but if you just jot down the conditional logic of, this is, if it's greater than if it's less than this, then it's going to be super hot. If it's between this and this, and you can write that kind of pseudocode, but as long as you get that conditional logic worked out beforehand, it's going to make your coding go faster. Also, you're going to really need to use math to do this well anyway. You're going to really want to use the math.absolute function, the ABS function. That gives you the absolute value. All right, I've got a link here to a demo. This is in Schoology, same as this video. You're just going to make it so that the difference between the two is absolute, so that the difference between, if they have a term, if they guess 5 and the number is 7, it should give them -2. No, not 2, -2. It should give them 2, because you don't want to have to test for negative numbers and positive numbers. So what you're going to do is you're going to get the absolute value. And the absolute value just strips off the negative sign and only gives us how far the two numbers are apart from each other. Okay, this way, if your number is larger than the other number, it doesn't matter. You don't have to check to see which number is larger and subtract it that way. So I'm going to just show you my example real quick. I'm going to go to my projects, and you'll see that I've got absolute difference demo. This one is one that you guys have access to. There's a link to it in the project so you can see the code. And then from here, I've got my term 1, term 2, my calculate. I'm going to run that real quick. And then I'm going to put in, let's see, we'll put in 42 and 23. And I'm going to hit calculate, and we'll see term 1 is 42, term 2 is 23. Difference between term 1 and term 2, term 1 minus term 2 is 19. Difference term 2 minus term 1 is negative 19. The absolute difference is 19. We want that absolute number. It's going to make things a whole lot better for us. It looks like I've got a little typo in there, and that's okay. All right, last thing I want to show you is, let me pull this over here to this other screen because I don't want to show you the code necessarily for this one, but I'm going to go to my projects, and I'm going to leave this as a thing for you to aspire to try to get happen. So I'm going to go to let's see. Let me pull this up as a share link. All right. I should have prepped this in advance, and that's okay. All right, so this is what the slider looks like. I've got a text label here. After input, I'm making it so that it automatically updates. So whenever this input changes, it automatically updates the text label. I think you can figure that out. I just want to leave it as a kind of a stretch challenge, an extension, if you will. So let's just wrap this up. So make sure you put your hidden. Oh, this is just a tip for getting things going. I would recommend for the initial development, put a label on your screen somewhere that has your hidden number shown. You'll later delete this, but this way you know what the hidden number is, the secret number, the random number, and that way you can more quickly test your different situation. The next and last helpful hint is help each other, please. Don't get stuck, get help, okay? Talk it out with your neighbors when you get stuck. In this case, I'm not here. I think in this case, I'm not here tomorrow, so you won't be able to ask me, but work with each other. Don't try to, don't just sit there being frustrated. If you get stuck, ask for help. And then here are some extensions, some ways that you can make the project a little more interesting if you want. The slider is certainly a little bit of a challenge. You could show a visual way. I think some people are going to jump on this one. A visual way to show your degree of warmth. Make sure it makes sense. If it's really far away as Snoopy, but really close as Bart Simpson. I'm not sure that the user or player is going to know what those mean, but you could use color, or you could use big word art or something like that to show how visually how their degrees of warmth have changed. And then last but not least, you could give different congratulations messages based on the number of times they had to guess. Think the triangle puzzle at Cracker Barrel, where you jump the pegs over each other. If you finish the game with one peg left, you're a genius. If you do it with 4 left, you're average, or something like that. I don't remember what the different number of pegs is necessarily, but this would be a good way to kind of spice things up a little bit and just give them a different message based on how many guesses it took them. All right, good luck putting the project together. Again, please remember to submit your assignment on Schoology the day this was assigned, at the end of class. I want to see how far you get on this project in just a single day. So work hard, try to stay focused, and get as much done as you can. Thanks, everyone. Let's get to work.